Morning guys, Lazy Carper. We're on nook fisheries today. Been off here now for about 2 months. Been concentrating on Wyreside. Main reason is because I've got the winter ticket for here this year, so I've kind of didn't want to really fish it. I did have a session on here about 2 months ago, and I had a £25 mirror and a £15 common, I think it was. So yeah, just come round. Done my walk around, spent about half an hour, 40 minutes walking around each of the pegs, having a look. Not really seeing much over then in this little channel here. So this is the channel between Narrows from the deep side to the shallow side. That's down there. And there's a nice few little clear spots just in front of you there. There's a nice little deep spot in between them two bushes, quite close to the margin. I have fished this peg before, and I've had success coming off that little tree, and I've had a few off there. As I said, there has been a few milling about coming in between both sides of the lake. So I'm gonna set up on this on Narrows. I'm gonna stick one in that channel because it looks pretty nice. As I said, they've been moving in and out. I've fished it before, so I know what to expect. So hopefully we can get amongst them. So I'll keep you updated as we go on. I wasn't too sure whether to put this in the video or not, but as I was sat here just watching the water, a bit of commotion was going on in front of me swim, and got the camera out, zoomed in to see what it was, and it was this cormorant. It's got one of the smallest sturgeon out of the lake in its mouth, one of the diamondbacks. As you can see, this is how greedy they are. This sturgeon's far too big for this cormorant, but it's still having a go. Luckily, you don't see it, but the sturgeon does manage to get away. It did get away pretty unharmed, I'm guessing, because sturgeons have got quite hardy skin, they're quite rough. So I just thought I'd put this in to show you how devastating these birds can be to lakes. The bailiffs were notified and sent this video, and there is actions in place to obviously get rid of this cormorant. Well, I've had my rods out for a good couple of hours now. Nothing really, there's been the odd show, I've been seeing the odd carp cruise through the top. Not much real action, and I've just repositioned my left hand rod back in the margin, freshened the boilie up, and about 5-10 minutes later, rod went tight, bobbing up against the bottom of the rod. And then this lunatic started throwing some acrobatics, jumping out the water, as they do sturgeon. Not had one in a very, very long time. It's not the biggest, it doesn't matter. As I say, I've not had one in about 5-6 years. It's very welcome. Nice diamondback sturgeon. As we're just talking, one's just showed out over my left hand rod. So we'll get this bad boy back. I've already repositioned the rod back in there in case a carp comes along. very important with sturgeon to give them lots of time to recuperate. Very sensitive fish, to be honest. Try and get the air back into the gills, and then when it's ready, put those. Not quite ready yet. Now. Right, so I didn't actually get a lot of footage of this 42 pound 6 ounce sturgeon. To be quite frank, it absolutely bullied me all over the lake. It was an absolute monster, and trying to record and get it in the net safely, because you can't remove it out of the water, was just a job. So this is all I got, unfortunately. So it's morning after. As you could see by the previous footage, I had 2 sturgeons yesterday, one going £15 and one going £42 6 ounces. That £42 6 ounce, so that absolutely took it out of me. It was a good 25-minute fight trying to get it through all the weed, because it absolutely ripped off and took me through a big massive weed bed. So I was out in the waders fighting that for, as I say, about 25 minutes. Eventually it finally landed in my net. After that, reset the rods, got everything back on the dance floor, put a few spawns of bait out. Went quite quiet from there, to be honest, but £45 sturgeon, or £42 sturgeon, absolutely killed the mood in the swim. Probably spooked everything out of here that was in here. He had me all over the swim. Surprised it didn't take any of my other rods out, to be honest. So yeah, I had a bit of a quiet night. Went to bed about 11:30. Woke up this morning, first light. Sat here watching the water for a couple of hours. The odd fish showing about. Repositioned my right hand rod, which was on the lily pads on the sunken island, and I've just put it closer to this channel on the left hand side. And within 5-10 minutes of putting it out, with a nice little bait spoon of bait over the top of it, it's gone off. Hooked into it, lifted into the fish, and within a couple of seconds it was out doing acrobatics again. So it was obviously another sturgeon. Unfortunately, that fight led to a hook pull. It took me into a bit of a weed and it's just pulled out, unfortunately. But yeah, so I've had 3 runs. All 3 have been sturgeons, and I've landed 2 of them. It's about 20 past 8 this morning. I'm just going to give it till about 9 o'clock, and then just have a nice slow pat down. We have to be off at 10 o'clock, so I'm hoping for a carp, to be honest. I know it sounds strange. I've had the £42 sturgeon and should be over the moon. But I am, but I'm not, because I've come for carp really, and this was going to be one of my last sessions on here before I pick up the winter ticket in October. Because it can be quite slow, so this was really like the tester to like build my confidence a little bit for the winter ticket. It's not really planned out the way I wanted it to plan. I know I've had the £42 sturgeon and the £15 sturgeon, and I should be over the moon, but in the back of my mind it's still, I've not had a carp, and that's what I've come for. I am quite happy because I've hooked the big sturgeon before, twice. Both times I've lost it, it's just took me on an absolute mooch. So I am, in that sense, quite happy that I've landed it. But as I say, I just want a carp, to be honest, to finish this session off. So hopefully in this last hour and a half, we can pull one out. I'll quickly just run you through what bait I've been using and where the spots have been. So when I first got here, I had one in between them, that little clay spot in the trees, just about half a rod length off the margin, because there's a nice little deep spot in that channel. It's nice and gravelly. They obviously feed in there. I've had great success on there before. And then the right hand rod was positioned just off the corner of these lily pads where the sunken island is. And then obviously after speaking to Lee and Jamie, the bailiffs on here, there's not many people on here, so they've allowed me to fish 3 rods. Then my middle rod was literally just 6 wraps out into the middle. There's another clear spot. That's where we had that big sturgeon. But this morning I've repositioned the right hand rod that was on the island, swapped it with my middle rod, and just put it roughly about here in this channel to try and intercept them before they go into that main channel of water. And that's where that third sturgeon took it from. As I say, unfortunately it didn't grace my net, but hey ho. There's a little setup of all the rods there, and as I say, I'll show you what bait I'm using. So in here we've got a mix of 18mm, 14mm cell boilies, and they've been sat in there with some bumbleberry goo and the sticky mix essential cell liquid, and they've been soaking in there for about a week, the boilies, to be honest. And then in there as well we've also got hemp, tiger nuts, and what else? We've got maize in there as well. I put them in last night and then give them a good dousing in them goos as well. So it's a nice little porcent mix, and it's done the job. It seems to have turned the sturgeon onto it anyway. We're fishing spinner rigs on all 3 rods. We've got the incredible tackle 15mm squid pop-up boilies. Don't know whether that's the reason that obviously it's enticed the sturgeon in with the squid being in there, with it being a fish-based boiler. But as I say, I'm hoping really for a carp to finish the trip off. So if we don't have anything, obviously this will be the last time you'll see me on this session. So fingers crossed.